Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
And so I think the other Miles is going to be a good guy. No, I know you're not on the show, Cecil. Why do you think I'm calling? Okay, I'm at the door. I'll see you in a few weeks.
Delicious.
Seriously,
wow.
So good.
I'm just so glad you guys like it. I'm really glad you like it.
Hey guys, what are you doing?
Noah, you got to try this soup that Eli made.
Eli, I'm getting this recipe. I've got to have it.
Wait a minute. So, Eli, your before-show shenanigans are like making a soup this week?
Pretty much, yeah.
What do you mean, pretty much?
I'm going to get another bowl. This is so good.
Go ahead,
Get
buddy.
me
Help
one.
yourself. So, you know how this week's episode is about the Titanic and also that sub with the billionaires that got squooshed?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So I call my guy and I'm like, hey, can I raise the Titanic? Put it in a podcast studio for shenanigans? No can do. So I'm like, okay, well, sometimes we do a group game at the beginning. Can I trap us all in a submarine and then we go down there? But he's all booked up. But he was down there earlier this week and he found a crushed up can of tomato soup. So I figure, hey, actual soup from the Titanic. That's cool, right?
Eli, what brand was the soup?
Let me see. Titan. Maybe it was I've never heard of it. But
You know what? This is good. It's good. I was worried some folks might think that this episode wasn't going to be tasteful.
That's pretty tasteful over here.
I am loving this. So good.
So good.
Jesus Christ.
Chunky.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Noah, and I'm going to be captain of this vessel, but I can't exactly sink to these depths alone, so joining me tonight are three men I will not be drawing like one of my French girls, Tom, Eli, and Heath.
Okay. Come on, Noah. It's not hard. Just, paint some googly eyes on a croissant, and you're right there for me.
Yeah. Or in my case, a Danish.
There you go.
Team Danish.
Like one of your French boys?
And of course, before we get going, I want to remind everybody that Cecil isn't here this week because he's been captured by Norwegian terrorists and is currently being held for ransom. So if you want to help us see him again, be sure to stick around to the end of the show and find out how you can contribute. So with that out of the way, tell us, Heath, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about the Titanic. And maybe also, I don't know, like Titanic-adjacent mishaps, like if we have time.
Okay.
If we have time.
So are you actually going to start with the Titanic then?
Yes, I'm going to start with the Titanic. So pretty much everyone already knows the general story of the Titanic. Mostly from the mediocre movie with the amazing fucking soundtrack. So
Okay,
good.
Weird take. Weird take.
Yeah,
What?
man. Yeah, mediocre overstates that case quite a bit.
Okay.
Come on. Celine Dion is fire. That is so good. Get out of here.
We're gonna
You guys
have to-
don't like that?
No. Not
What?
the beginning or the middle or the end. But other than that, it's fine.
Come on. Whatever. We're going to circle back to that. I'm not going to retell the entire story of the Titanic, but I'll give you some of my favorite fun facts. And I'll start with a problem on day one. The RMS Titanic started her maiden voyage on April 10th of 1912, leaving from Southampton, England, heading for New York City. And things were going great until about 2 minutes after they started.
Okay, but that's really a compliment for the Titanic. If you think that's
Really?
just a compliment for the Titanic. 2 minutes is... Move on.
So they're pulling out of the docks, and they went past two other ships at their moorings. Titanic was the largest ship in the world at the time, and also the largest moving object ever built. So they drastically underestimated the huge displacement of water that would happen, When Titanic went past, the SS City of New York got lifted up on the wake and then dropped into a big trough, and the mooring cables snapped. The New York got swung around and thrown towards the Titanic. A nearby tugboat called Vulcan came to the rescue just in time, though, and got the New York to stop 4 feet away from a collision 2 minutes into the maiden voyage.
Also, everyone on that boat, an old lady fortune teller. So,
Not the only time in this story where the Titanic comes up short of the city of New York, though.
Just missed. So the Titanic finally makes it out of her 0th port and heads out 45 minutes late. After picking up the rest of its passengers at a few more stops in the UK, they have about 2,240 people on board. They spend a few days cruising through open water, but then on April 14th, every ship in the area sends warnings over the radio about icebergs all over the place in the North Atlantic. And standard safety practice at the time was keep going full speed and the lookout guy will say something if we need to turn. So they did that, and they smashed into an iceberg.
See, James Cameron, it's called getting to the fucking point. Your movie did not have to be 3 hours. Boom.
Thank you.
Smash into a fucking iceberg right there.
TLDR.
right, but the real tragedy here was that this was before people could live meme their deaths, so nobody knew about it. It was just
The memes would have been so good.
Oh,
Spoiler. So they hit the iceberg at 11:40 p.m. on April 14th, and pretty quickly, it's clear that they'll need to abandon ship. They had enough lifeboats for about half the people on the ship, but also not really, because 4 of the lifeboats were collapsible futon-style lifeboats that were packed away in dumb spots and weighed several tons each, so it would have been a pain in the ass to get them.
Titanic's listing heavily, and some guy's trying to fetch a 4,000-pound lifeboat from atop the overhead bin.
Yeah.
That is kind of what happened. They had one above the captain's quarters, and it was just way out of the way. Yeah. By the way, and even more not really that they had that much lifeboat support, because everyone's an idiot. They didn't fill the lifeboats all the way that they did use.
Oh, my God.
Apparently, Captain Edward Smith told 2 of his officers to start loading women and children into the lifeboats at one point. One officer took that to mean women and children first, but the other officer took that to mean women and children only. So that second guy sent off lifeboats with a whole bunch of open spots if there weren't any women and children ready to go on his side of the ship when he dropped each boat.
Yeah, and those lifeboats took 8 billion times more pee breaks on their way to safety. Am I right, gentlemen? Am I right?
What?
Even on a goddamn lifeboat, women get stuck with all the childcare.
Right?
Eli's fucking a stool. Another more general problem at this moment was that lots of passengers were just completely refusing to use lifeboats at all. That includes millionaire passenger John Jacob Astor, who said, "We're safer here than in that little boat." He dies 2 hours later. And we all know the basic story of those 2 hours for the most part. Water starts pouring in. Some guy paints a naked lady or something. True. The band lies about finishing their whole set. Obvious lie. And the ship goes under. But help was on the way from the RMS Carpathia, who showed up around 4 a.m. and ended up saving about 700 people. But not without a really dark moment of humor, I'd say. The lights from Carpathia were spotted on the horizon around 3:30 a.m., and everybody cheered that's in the water. And then there was a really awkward 30 minutes of nervous laughing and a little bit more death. It took a while to get everyone out of the water and, from the lifeboats into the Carpathia. One guy survived that whole night, but then he died right when his lifeboat was getting saved.
Oh, I like to think that he did that despite the guy who just said it's not going to kill you to wait your turn, right?
Yeah, in that guy's face. I agree. Absolutely. So they finally got all the survivors onto the Carpathia around 9 a.m. And then at 9:15, another pretty awkward moment happened. 2 other ships arrived to be like, "Oh, well, we got the check. Oh, you got it. It's cool. You got it. You guys got it over there? Great." One of those ships was the SS Californian, and they are liars. They were the closest ship when Titanic started sinking, and one of their crew saw the distress flares go up from the Titanic. He woke up Captain Stanley Lord on the Californian, but Lord refused to help. A later investigation by the U.S. Senate found that Captain Lord could have saved a bunch more lives, and they called his inaction reprehensible. And then Captain Lord spent the rest of his life arguing in bars trying to clear his name.
Yeah, bad Lord excuses have a long and storied tradition there.
I mean, helping would have been really dangerous, though. There were icebergs everywhere.
Right? Yeah.
There were, though. That's basically why it happened. Yeah. And just a couple other details that were not in the movie. First of all, there was a magical prophet who totally called it about the Titanic. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson wrote a novella about an ocean liner that hits an iceberg and tragically sinks with all the same problems about the lifeboats. The title of that novella, The Wreck of the Titan.
Oh,
Titan.
Yeah, no. Robertson was the Simpsons of their day. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, she also wrote thousands and thousands of scripts and occasionally got something right by accident.
I think it was just a one novella. It's not the point. Whatever. Now it is
Weird
time
use of her powers. Can I say that?
for some Titanic adjacent stuff. But it's not what you're thinking. 5 months after the Titanic sank, a Japanese steamship named the SS Kiche-Maru got hit by a typhoon and went under. Between passengers and crew, there were about 1,000 people on board, and they all died. And nobody fucking cares. The entire world ignored it and kept ignoring it ever since, like the fucking Ben Jonson of maritime disasters. So I think it's important right now to give a solemn nod of recognition to the SS Kiche-Maru.
I mean, Heath, the Kiche-Maru did set sail with the motto, "It's totally sinkable." So, like, there was a lot less irony in that.
Sure, yeah.
So, according to Wikipedia, the final death toll for the Titanic was 1,496 people. But then, 111 years later, they managed to officially break into the elusive 1,500 club.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not sure if anybody heard about this,
Great writing right here, Heath.
but 5 more people got killed by the RMS Titanic very recently. And when I say by, I mean 500 meters away from that wreckage of the Titanic. That's where a submersible named Titan suffered an implosion, killing all 5 people in their tiny little death tube for rich people. So, okay, quick thing at this moment. If you feel like it's too soon, or you feel like it's just insensitive in general to make jokes about death, it's weird that you're still listening to this show.
Yeah, that's
But you have a chance to stop right now. Stop now. Or don't and be mad. I really don't care. I really don't care. This is happening.
Heath, I feel like if people made it through the Challenger episode, they're here for the Titan jokes.
Thank you.
And you can't even use the too soon because we just did Pat Robertson last week, guys. You can't even do
Pat
that too soon.
Robertson. Yeah. There you go. We did Holodomor. We did Bhopal. Whatever.
Power glove?
What?
Power glove?
Yeah, we did. Thank you.
We did New
We did the
Coke.
Power Glove.
We've done tragedy after tragedy.
Truly tragic. So the Titan submersible was operated by the Ocean Gate Company, founded by Stockton. No, not a great name. So now it's like Ocean Gate, and it's like double stupid because it's dumb to even call anything gate like that. Anyway, founded by a guy named Stockton Rush. He's one of the 5 people who died. Their core philosophy at Ocean Gate is libertarian experimental submarinelets. That's what they do.
Submarinelets.
Despite a bunch of experts raising concerns about the safety of the Titan, Stockton Rush and the company management refused to get the vessel certified. According to Rush, safety protocols would hinder his amazing innovation. And, yeah, they fucking would have indeed. Yep, that would have been hindered. He described the U.S. Passenger Vessel Safety Act as, quote, needlessly prioritizing passenger safety over commercial innovation.
Ooh, I don't know if they've carved his epitaph yet, but if they haven't, can I nominate that phrase for it?
Also, I'm sorry, but I at least want to live in a simulation where the people writing it are putting in enough effort for this guy not to be named Stockton Rush. Give me a fucking break.
Careless dirtbag.
Such an obvious sign of a glitch in the Matrix. Idiots,
Right?
we caught you. Noah caught you. So during an interview from last year with Rush, he said, quote, "At some point, safety is just pure waste. If you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything."
Check, and check, my dude.
Yeah, he's not. He's not doing that stuff now.
During another interview, he also said, quote, "I've broken some rules to make Titan. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did." And exact quote.
If ever there was a guy who deserved the Beetlejuicean afterlife where you look how you did when you died, it is this guy.
Mommy, why is that guy shaped like a two-dimensional inside of a submarine? Because he's a terrible asshole, dude. He's a terrible asshole.
Well, you see, son, he used logic and good engineering instead of rules.
So the Ocean Gate Company business model is providing extremely expensive underwater excursions for extremely rich people. All 5 implosion victims were either millionaires, billionaires, or the 19-year-old son of a 350 millionaire.
Heath, ixnay on the 19-year-old nay. Like, we're just keeping fun.
Whatever. Adult millionaire, you're fine. The poorest guy on the trip was actually Stockton Rush, with an embarrassingly low net worth of only about $25 million. Now, I'm not saying that means I was rooting for them to die. I'm not saying the opposite either. I'm saying nothing about how much I wanted them each to die based on their money or anything else. I will say this, though. The price of a ticket for the implosion outing was $250,000 a person. And that's how you become a mission specialist, by the way. You pay $250,000 and they call you a mission specialist.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Well, I feel like a lot of people are looking for a good time to turn off this episode, so we're going to take a quick break for a little apropos of something. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. I'll keep this brief. My name is Shrimp Kinglemeyer. I am the president and overseer of the Comedy Timing Committee, and these are the July 3rd releases.
Oh, get ahead.
Yes, Heath, thank you. Let's see. The death of Alan Arkin is immediately funny due to the Fair Game Act of 1933, which states that anyone over 70 who dies is immediately fair game unless they're murdered or it's COVID, in which case the age moves up to 90.
Oh, so 90-year-olds who died of COVID are funny now?
I don't make the rules, man. I just read them. So, we have some retractions. All the Britney Spears jokes we made from 1990 to 2018 are not funny, as are most of the comedies from that time period as well. But we've decided we're just not going to talk about it.
Okay, good.
Really treated her poorly.
I liked Happy Gilmore.
And last but not least, a lot of people have asked about whataboutism permits. So I will say once again, for the record, that your whataboutism permit can only be granted if the joke you got in trouble for is related to a different joke.
Oh, okay. Can you go into a little more detail on that one?
Right, yeah, okay. So if Aunt Edna has gained weight and you make a joke, you can't what about the Holocaust? You need a pair of jokes by subject, right? Like the Holocaust, that's a historical event. It has nothing to do with Edna.
Oh, all right. Can you give an example of that?
Sure. Yeah. So you might pair Aunt Edna's weight and Uncle Jerry's glass eye, for example.
All right. Got it.
Ooh,
Got
that
it.
makes sense to me.
Because the categories. Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming. There will now be a brief reception. We've got some snacks and some Kool-Aid, just like Jonestown.
Nice. See, I'm fine with that. I'm
yeah,
fine
totally
with that.
good.
Fuck those people.
we're back. When we last left off, Heath was explaining that you don't actually have to wait for the bodies to cool because it's already really cold in the North Atlantic. So where are we going next?
Thank you.
Heath?
Exactly. Exactly. So let's learn about the vehicle.
Okay, well, the core is sort of essay commentary, but I've tried to bring forward like character and relationship as a
the
meta-narrative.
vehicle called the Titan, not the show in general as a vehicle.
Got it. Sorry.
Yikes. Okay. The Titan submersible was a small tube with a window on the front that could be steered around a wreck site to provide some catastrophe tourism. It was 6.7 meters long, and it could just barely fit the 5 guys sitting inside.
Or ladies, feminism.
Cool. The structure of the tube was carbon fiber and titanium, which sounds super duper strong. Anyway, according to the late Mr. Rush, the carbon fiber was from Boeing, and he got a sweet discount because the material was too old for using on airplanes.
Oh, my God.
According to Boeing, however, they have no record of selling anything ever to the implosion guy.
Okay, yeah, but the guy who sold him the carbon fiber, we're pretty sure he bought it when Boeing didn't want it. So it's
the same. Like, look, normally, I'm all about recycling, but I feel like we can make an exception when it comes to hulls, just hulls in general. No?
Nope. And in terms of the design, the OceanGate website said that Titan was, quote, designed and engineered in collaboration with experts from NASA, Boeing, and the University of Washington. And nobody ever disputed that until they killed 5 people.
Yeah.
That's when the University of Washington made a very official statement that said, we had no involvement in designing it, engineering it, testing it, or any other verbs involving them at all. Boeing made almost the exact same statement, and NASA, they wanted to, but they had to admit they had some kind of agreement with OceanGate, but they also backed away as far as they legally could.
NASA's like, it's all right, guys, we got this. We have a pretty extensive track record of killing our passengers. We'll take the hit on this one. All right, it is a sad day. Am I in front of the mics yet?
We almost killed Big Bird.
All right, so let's see. We've learned how not to make O-rings and submarines. What's next on the list? What else we got?
And of course, the Titan had a multi-layered system for safety because safety is very important. For example, it had a real-time system to monitor the strength of the hull. And feels like real-time was way too late. I'm not like a libertarian submarine expert guy, but like that feels late.
Yeah, I feel like whether or not we're crushed is a real-time system for monitoring hull strength.
You always have that. Thank you. So, in case of any problems, they had 96 hours of life support for 5 people. And even if the entire crew became unconscious, they had several backup systems to bring the vessel back to the surface. That includes a set of sandbags that were held in place by hooks, and those hooks were slowly dissolving in the ocean water. If the vessel sat there for too long, the sandbags would then fall off and it would float back up. And if that didn't work, the people inside, assuming they weren't unconscious, could release the sandbags by jostling the ship back and forth for a while.
What?
Manual says here we are supposed to either, floss or nay back and forth.
Yeah.
This does not seem right.
So, it's all about the time. You guys remember the parachute in gym class? It's like that, but everybody's terrified and our lives depend on it. It's just like that. Jesus.
Yeah. So just like parachute in gym class. No.
So the implosion itself in real time on their real-time monitor was not the first sign of trouble for the Titan. In 2018, the OceanGate Director of Marine Operations, his name was David Lockridge, he wrote a big report explaining how the underwater death tube might actually be kind of dangerous, and he told them to get the vessel certified. When the company refused, claiming, that sounds like the whole thing and we don't want to pay for it, Lockridge made some of this information public, and OceanGate sued him for violating the non-disclosure clause of his contract and for making fraudulent statements. Lockridge then countersued, arguing that he was wrongfully terminated as a whistleblower. They ended up settling out of court a few months later, with part of the settlement for Lockridge being this moment right now when he is
Oh, hey, honey, I'm going to go ahead and click buy on those tickets after all. Turns out he's settled with the whistleblower. It's probably all figured out.
Yeah, right. So, on top of that incident with their in-house prophet, OceanGate also got another warning back in 2018. Deep sea exploration specialist Rob McCallum learned about the OceanGate dives and their uncertified equipment, so he emailed Stockton Rush explaining that he should definitely get some independent testing. Rush emailed back saying, quote, "I'm tired of industry players trying to use a safety argument to stop innovation. We've heard the baseless cries of, 'You're going to kill someone,' way too often. I take this as a serious personal insult." End quote.
Not adding, honestly, I find this kind of thing crushing. Can I just say?
Yeah, this email exchange has been widely described as sounding like flavor text from a computer terminal in a Fallout game, which I agree with, except that I feel like those guys would have known better than to name their bad guy Stockton fucking Rush.
And it's so much better.
Maybe in New
Come on.
Vegas. Maybe New Vegas.
Well, okay, yeah, sure. They were
John Everyman, get out of here. So, OceanGate got another big warning last year from a reporter named David Pogue. Pogue was doing a story about exploring the Titanic, and he was on board the surface boat that brought the Titan submersible to the area of the wreckage. During that excursion, the Titan couldn't find the wreck during its dive, and it got lost. Eventually, they made it back up to the surface, but David Pogue got to see some janky details. During his report for CBS News, Pogue mentioned how the Titan was controlled by a Logitech F710 wireless game controller that normally retails for about $30. Now, this was a big deal in all the media coverage of the implosion that I saw, but that controller situation is actually pretty normal, as I understand it. Like, the U.S. military uses not that expensive game controllers for stuff all the time. They use Xbox controllers for stuff.
What?
But yeah, like for drones, the U.S. military uses just pretty much standard Xbox
Yeah, just
controllers.
off-the-shelf stuff, because all you have to do is get inputs from one place to another, yeah.
There is somebody out there getting a drone strike called on them from a fucking guy actually playing Call of Duty.
With that controller, yes,
Jesus
absolutely.
fucking.
Why do you think the U.S. government
Shit,
contributes to all the Call of Duty games, Tom? So they can train a generation of soldiers.
What?
This is
Really?
all
No,
Ender's
it's
Game.
fine.
Everything is the end of Ender's Game. All of it.
It's
this
like
is-
Ender's Game if they didn't bother to hide it. If they were
Right.
like, hey,
Right, yeah,
this is
right, exactly.
real, and the buggers like come over here on a pretty regular basis, and they're like, we were forced into terrorism under horrible, and Ender's like, boo, whatever, pwn, blam.
Jesus fucking shit.
It's a live stream of the fight in the showers and
He
shit. Yeah.
streams killing the buggers on Twitch. Hey everybody, really going after the queen today, going for this. This has been so exciting. Oh my god. Pepe's in the chat, guys. I killed that guy in a shower.
There's some fucking guy from the fucking bottom 15% of his graduating class with a fucking Xbox controller with the haptic thing on, actually shooting missiles, like real missiles at people.
Yeah.
Probably higher than that in his class, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, a little
Thank
bit.
you,
A little bit.
he-
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but we live in Ender's not a game. That's really what's happening. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, neat. I love learning.
that-
This is great. Thank you.
That guy, David Pogue, the reporter, actually had a few other concerns too. He told Stockton Rush, quote, "It seems like your submersible has elements of MacGyvery jerry-riggedness." Among other things, that might be referring to the computer monitor that was seemingly screwed into the inside wall of Titan's hull.
Okay, but they did use a drywall anchor, so safety first.
Again, I don't know if that one was actually dangerous. That might be totally normal too, but it looked scary to me.
I
when
feel like
first
you
saw
don't
that. I was
screw
like,
anything
come
into the
on.
hull. I feel like you don't, screw shit into the hull.
You can't get a fucking stand for that shit?
Get a command hook, like something
Yeah.
else. Like
Anything. Wow.
if we violate the structural integrity at all, we all die. Screw it in there. Just screw it in there. It's fine.
Or get a Switch. You get a Switch and you've got both. You've got the controller and
There you go.
the monitor.
We're not spending
There you
Switch
go.
money on this thing.
We should be working for OceanGate. We shouldn't. That's weird to say. Also worth mentioning is one other incident from last year. During a dive, the OceanGate crew realized that one of the thrusters on Titan got installed backwards.
Oh my God.
I don't like this already because they could just potentially install things backwards. So that happened. They noticed instead of moving forward when they hit the gas button, it would spin in circles because of the backwards thruster.
Hey, you got to disassemble all the cam locks and dowel rods and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So they had to take some rubber bands off and deal with it. No, they were able to get around the issue by steering while holding the game controller sideways, like a fucking Mario Kart noob would think they were like steering in not steer mode. Not clear to me why that would fix the problem, but that's what they said in a BBC documentary about this.
Okay. Guys, bad news. We have to spin this thing to the surface like a synchronized swimmer. Good news is everyone gets a bonus tilt-a-whirl experience on the
there
way
you go.
out. Huh?
I would love it if their engineering problems and the solutions to those problems didn't exactly match up with my stoned ass trying to build shit in Tears of the Kingdom at 3 a.m.
Can we get a construct head on the front of our submarine? I
No,
think
keep it
that'll
upright.
know
We can keep it
which
upright.
direction to go.
So here's the basic timeline of the now we know final excursion for Titan. OceanGate chartered an old boat to carry the Titan and their clients, and they all departed from St. John's, Newfoundland on June 16th. They headed out to the dive site over the Titanic wreckage, which is in international waters. That's actually important because no more laws now. There's no laws there because it's international waters. That's why every time any expert told OceanGate about a safety concern, the company was able to just completely ignore it. There's no rules. And of course, they had all their passengers sign a waiver. On the first page of that waiver, it mentioned death 3 times. And it included the phrase, "You acknowledge that Titan is an experimental vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death."
Yeah, nobody ever talks about the dive where the Titan just showed all the passengers Schindler's List and what they went through, but it was pretty tough, let me tell you.
So they arrive at the wreckage site on June 18th. They get everyone to sign the death waiver, and they get ready to launch the Titan. That means they had the 5 guys crawl into the very small tube, and then the hatch got bolted shut, only capable of being opened again from the outside. That could happen with industrial bolt removing tools when you resurface, or, as we learned, with the crushing pressure of 13,000 feet of ocean. So everyone's all sealed up, and they start diving and implosion, like immediately. Not right there by the surface where everyone could see it, but pretty fucking soon after that. Within 90 minutes, the communications from the Titan stopped, and pretty soon after that, the U.S. Navy acoustic detection system that we have picked up an acoustic signature of libertarian death tube implosion. It's a telltale signature. They picked it up. Search and rescue teams spent the next 4 days looking for the Titan and eventually found a debris field consistent with that implosion.
Oh, what a delicate and gentlemanly way to put an ocean full of billionaire juice, Heath. Well done. Well done.
Oh, Heath, I have fun facts.
Okay,
All right,
nice.
Heath, so the implosion was so fast, it took place at about the same speed as light appearing when flipping a light switch, which is faster even than the time it takes for our nervous system to send a signal to our brain to react. So these guys all died before there was even a remote possibility for there to be an experience of their own demise or to reconsider their stance on regulations' role in adventure tourism. And
Boo! You bring him down the mood, Tom.
I'm sorry.
You're really bringing down the mood.
And while there have been some viral claims going around that the implosion would have also caused temperatures in the sub to briefly exceed those found on the surface of the sun, that turns out not to be true because the, entire ocean of 39-degree water that rushed in to fill that gap would fairly readily negate that possibility in the same libertarian millisecond.
That is a fun fact. Those are fun.
Those are fun facts.
I like that you used libertarian millisecond as a unit. I enjoyed that.
The initial reporting did actually say on AP that they would have been both crushed and incinerated at the same time, and they've since retracted that with a.
Okay.
Yeah, they've since.
I thought you were going to say AP said libertarian millisecond. I was like, no fucking right. That's awesome.
Look, the only reporting around that event that matters is the local news channel that found the boat captain, and we're like, can you tell us, is there any chance they're alive? And he was like, no! And then she was like, hard to hear. And that was the end of the fucking interview.
And then they just lied their asses off for 4 days, pretending like they might still be alive. No, they weren't.
Knocking in the ocean.
No, they weren't.
Somewhere.
No.
Okay, so what did we learn? Not much. Not much. Well, I mean, not much in a good or useful way. Canada and the U.S. are doing investigations. Maybe they'll come up with some useful knowledge about future safety. But that probably won't matter if international waters are still I'm on base for all laws. We also learned that when 5 rich people have a boat problem, they get a giant sea-air rescue operation with squadrons from 3 different countries going all over the place, spending a ton of money. But in the exact same week, when a boat with about 700 migrants from Libya goes under in the Ionian Sea off the coast of Greece, they get way less effort.
Okay, Heath, but when you were the one that towed the migrants out to sea and left them stranded, it's like harder to clutch your pearls and pretend you were shocked, you know?
No, I wasn't. What else did we learn, Tom? Well, from a trading perspective, like in terms of commodities, we did get some useful information about the pricing of tragedy-based collector's items. Immediately following the incident, the Logitech F710 controller completely sold out on Amazon.
Oh, Jesus.
And now, any retailers that still have those are charging well above the normal $30 price tag.
Yeah, which I think we can all agree is the foremost tragedy as far as No Illusions is concerned.
Well, I was going to go with the return of that god-awful Celine Dion song until Heath's opening made it sound like that was going to start a fight. So, yeah, it's the controller.
There it is.
You guys are dead inside. That is a beautiful song.
No, I like that song.
Come on. She's the queen of the power ballad. So I feel like there was a lesson to learn about sociology in here, too. For me, anyway, I learned that way too many people were shocked to find dark humor on the internet right after this. And I don't get it. The internet has been porn and schadenfreude the whole time. That's what it is. That's why Al Gore invented it. But when somebody made Titan into a playable vehicle on Grand Theft Auto 5 and Roblox, for example, people lost their goddamn minds, despite that being awesome and adorable. More generally, people would make like one little throwaway joke on their personal Facebook wall, like a stupid pun about crushed or whatever. And then they'd get a barrage of moral panic in response because social media is for serious takes about serious ethical stances and nothing else.
Yeah, if only the Titan had one of those folks on board, they could have been located based on their virtue signal.
Oh, yes.
Oh, God. So, and look, if I'm in that sub, right, and the panic alarm goes off or whatever, I got 2 minutes before it implodes, the one thing that's going to give me comfort in that moment is knowing that I'm going to go down in a flurry of great memes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. Ridiculous. And speaking of social media, there was one person out there who was determined to make the most of this terrible situation. And his name, that hero, he's not a hero. He's the fucking worst. But I'm going to call him that hero for a second. His name is Brian Szazz or something like that. Szazs. He's the stepson. Yes. He's the worst. He's the stepson of imploded billionaire Hamish Harding.
Okay, Stockton Rush, Hamish. Was this thing built in Gotham City?
Thank you.
What the fuck is this?
Chase Meridian? Fuck you. So, ever since the news broke, Brian Szazz has been tweeting about it and trying to parlay the whole thing into some naked time with a lady. And, okay, here's why I was going to, compliment him at first, because that's exactly what I feel like his stepdad would have wanted. Like, truly, Hamish Harding would have been like Noah said, great memes get laid, do what you got to do. I'm dying either way. This heroic campaign started during the search and rescue effort when there was still hope that the passengers might be alive. Zaz posted a picture of himself attending a Blink-182 concert with the caption, quote, "It might be distasteful being here, but my family would want me to be at the Blink-182 show as it's my favorite band and music helps me in difficult times."
Okay, the only people who are helped by Blink-182's music are the band Blink-182. Okay, my man?
You know, All the Small Things feels like a much darker song after this, though.
Tom! Mwah! So good. Oh, love that. What's my age again? No, I don't have anything for it.
No.
I like Blink-182. I like those two songs from Blink-182. I don't know why I'm trying to defend them too. No, I like those two songs. So apparently that post, it got him a bunch of sympathetic attention, and Brian Zaz decided to ramp it up. He tweeted at the band, hoping he would get, maybe like backstage passes from them or something. And he also mentioned, "I'm single, ladies." Also, of course, trying to get attention. And then, yeah, it's all downhill from here. He just kept being a 37-year-old white guy, which he is not good. He started trying to flirt with OnlyFans models, being all fucking creepy. The sympathy started going away real quick. At one point, he replied to a photo from OnlyFans model Brea. I guess she's kind of famous. Her caption said, "Can I sit on you?" And it was like a sexy picture of her. And he replied, "Yes, please."
Okay, but I feel like for him, a smushing fetish was hard-earned.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, whatever. He did a creepy response to that. The point is, though, that was 5 minutes, literally, after he had tweeted, "Please keep my family in your prayers." And then he was
But not my
trying to
dick
flirt
in
with
my
this
pants.
OnlyFans model. Yeah. Then, in the span of that same hour, all of the following happened. He got in a fight with Cardi B. He used the N-word during an argument with one of Cardi B's fans, who happens to be a black person. He got yelled at by the entire internet, deservingly. He doubled down about how it was fine for him to do that with the N-word because he used an A at the end instead of an ER. Oh. And finally, he had to delete his entire account and go away forever. So, good ending, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing faster than the Titans explosion is how fast a white guy on the internet goes from getting in trouble to using the N-word.
So fast!
Well, I guess he didn't want his stepdad hogging all the self-inflicted implosions, I guess. Yeah.
So that's the end of the story, except for the Ocean Gate Company, which is still very much operational. They're still selling stuff.
What?
Tickets on these things, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they've sold one since then, but they're trying.
Probably not.
And their existence includes a help wanted posting on their website during the week following the they really did this. They've since deleted the post, but the internet is forever. Somebody caught him. The job posting said, quote, "Immediate opening for a sub pilot."
Immediate opening in the sub, as it turns out.
This is an excellent opportunity for a high-energy professional who's interested in a long-term position with a growing company. The successful candidate will be self-driven, flexible, positive, and willing to work in a small, close-knit team environment.
And we mean really flexible,
Yeah,
by the way.
right.
Really
And
flexible.
really small.
Yeah, and high energy, by the way, we're measuring in joules here. So.
Yeah, for this job, you have to check out the reviews at Porthole instead of Glassdoor, but okay.
With the Blink-182, the small things and the two huge Heath points. Nicely done.
All right, so Heath, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
I mean, not much. You should have to have a fucking driver's license to be on social media.
Okay.
But like harder. It should be like a lot harder
Yeah.
to get on social media than to be allowed to drive.
All right, are you ready for the quiz?
I'm ready.
All right. So everybody keeps joking that this is going to give James Cameron a chance to make that sequel to Titanic that you know he wants to make, right? Kind of the king of part twos. But what other James Cameron film or franchise could the Stockton Rush story be a sequel for? A, The Abyss. B, The Terminator. C,
Sure.
True Lies. Or D, Piranha 2: The Spawning. That's really him. That's early in this game.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Wow, tough one. I'm gonna go with A, The Abyss. I actually like that movie.
It is actually The Abyss.
Nice. I actually like the Terminator. I like the original Terminator better than 2. Hot
That's
take.
weird.
Nice. Also cool.
That is weird.
All right.
Is that weird? Arnold was scary as the bad guy. I liked him as the bad guy.
Arnold was good in that one. All right, Heath. The billionaires and millionaires tragically crushed beneath 6,000 pounds per square inch of relentless pressure seem hard to sympathize with, and I think that's unfair, since A, they turned out to be real chums.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you're doing puns. Okay.
Although
No,
B,
you don't really.
they were rather flat characters.
It's C, all the small things.
There you go. All right, you got it. You got it.
All right, Heath. It's obvious that The Titan Was Missing was a banging sequel from none other than Celine Dion herself, the queen of the ballad.
Of the
or whatever
power
you would call-
ballad.
Power ballad,
Yep.
exactly. What should the title track for the sequel be? A, My Heart Will Go Flan. That's it. That's all I
Okay,
got.
you're done. Because flan is like it's
It's
as if
mushy,
crushed like
squish.
soup. It's mushy,
He's squeezed.
like soup.
All right, well, I guess,
Okay, I don't know. Fucking B, Eli, you win, right?
Incorrect.
yeah, Eli wins because he got away with writing the fewest potential answers here. Cecil, we really miss you. So you get to decide who the essayist is next week, Eli.
I want an essay from Tom.
All right.
All right, well, for Tom, Heath, and Eli, I'm Noah. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We're going to be back next week, and by then, Tom will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can check out Heath on God-Awful Movies or Tom on Dear Old Dads. Just a couple of examples. Sorry, there's too many shows to do the whole list every week anymore. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
I'm trying so hard to get something with it's all coming back to me now, and I can't fucking do it. I'm so mad. My nose is bleeding.
Heath is going to call us at midnight tonight and be like, I have a list.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started, risk-free, at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.